So we have quite a nice range of effects that we can apply to Atom. We can either apply them globally to both layers or individually. So in the mix section here, we have our first layer and our second layer. We click on the layer 1 down here, and then we get the effects that will only be applied, if this link is off, it will only be applied to layer 1. So it'll only affect this layer here, and then layer 2, we get the same range of effects that we can apply just to layer 2. And then we get this link control, which we'll discuss more once we've been through all the effects. So layer 1. So we can really hear the effects. Maybe we'll just turn off layer 2 for now. Click on layer 1. So we have a filter, completely separate to the filter included here. Nothing to do with that filter, but we have this filter with cutoff and resonance. And we also have the option to have a high pass filter or band pass. We also get a stutter control. So again, adds a bit of a, well, it's a stutter effect, but it's a bit like adding an LFO to the sound. So we get an amount for the stutter. And we get a gate which controls the envelope. So we can bring it down for very short envelopes on the stutter. Or lengthen. And then we get a rate for the speed of the stutter. See, there's little control here. It's for turning the effect on and off. We have two identical delays that we can set independently, although we get the same controls on each one. So turn it on, we get a delay time. It's always tempo synced. We get feedback, so the length of delay. A pan, which affects, it's a bit like a ping pong delay really. So if I bring the feedback up, a bit like a ping pong delay, you can bring down the pan, which takes away some of that stereo movement on the effect. And then a wet control, so no delay, and then bring in a delay to 100% wet, which will completely get rid of the dry signal, and you'll only hear the delayed signal. And this second delay is identical, so it means you can set independent delays. For very creative sounds. And the delays sound really nice, great for just helping a sound sit in the mix a bit better. We have a unison control down here, so we can add extra voices. You notice the volume goes up there. So adding extra voices to the sound that we can then detune. We get right up to 8 voices of unison. So some controls in the middle here. For top one, add stereo width to the layer. I'll take the voices down. It's quite subtle, I found. I've used it a bit now. we get a different sound up. So we can hear the stereo width a bit better. Very subtle. It does spread the sound, but not in a ridiculous way where it's really pseudo stereo. It's just a subtle stereo widening, which again is just kind of what you want really. If you get some stereo control that just spreads it really far wide, then it's potentially going to run into some phase issues when you collapse into mono. So really nice stereo imager. We get a drive control for some overdrive. From subtle kind of crunchiness down here to all out distortion, which doesn't, it doesn't destroy the sound completely. It just gives it a really nice, more aggressive edge, and a pan control. So we have the chorus up here. And turn it on. And then we get depth, amount of chorus, and speed. And then the dry wet. Let's get another sound in. And then we have the lo-fi effect. We can add a bit of noise to the signal. And we can also add the glitch, which is adding bit crushing really. It works in the reverse direction. Brought all the way to the left, it just completely destroys the audio source, but it depends on the sound you're after, because that can be used quite creatively. We get another delay, which same controls as the first delay. And one of the real kind of highlight features of Atom down here is the convolution reverb. And it features 25 different algorithms that we can select from in this control here. So bring up the dry wet control to 50% so we can really hear the reverb. And at the moment we're on the lexicon setting. Can switch this to Ambio, and they all have a very different vibe and sound of their own, to be fair. Large, and once we've dialed in one of the algorithms, we get a high pass control for the reverb. And we get a size as well. It sets the length of the reverberation tail. And it's definitely worth experimentation with the different algorithms. Some are more functional mix tools. And finally, we just discuss a bit more the link control down here. So we've just been looking at the layer 1 effect. So that's only going to affect this first layer. If we load in another preset here, I've got 2 layers loaded into this sound, and then I've got 2 sets of effects. That's for the first layer, this is for the second layer. And this link layer effect is great because we can just turn it on and off depending on how we want to create or customize the sound. So I want to add a bit more drive to the whole sound, so I can click link layer effects and then it makes the effects global. So I pushed up the drive there. If I go to layer 2, we can see the drive has been added to layer 2 as well. But then we want to customize things further and think, I just want to add some delay onto the second layer, but not the first. Take that link layer effect off, click on, say, this delay here. And it's just applied the delay to the second layer. And I want to go into the first layer and add some unison voices and detune them. Go to my second layer, they won't be on there, but let's think now, okay, I want to apply some chorus to the whole layer. Click link layer effect, turn on the chorus. Going to be on both of the layers here, and then say, okay, let's apply a high pass to both layers. Still with link layer effects on, select a high pass filter. And that's applied the high pass filter to both layers. So very useful. You know, the thought of really how, depending on your workflow, how you want to craft the sound, how you want to design the sound. It's all very intuitive and just perfect for creation and mixing duties. So next video, we'll take a look at the really nice arpeggiator that comes with Atom.